Hello, hello. Happy New Year, Mavericks. I hope you've had a fantastic start to your 2023. Ashley here, back with episode 64 of the Maverick Mompreneur podcast. We are starting the year with something different that I'm really excited about. And this episode is going to be explaining what this new series is so that you can see if you are here for it and totally excited, or if you're going to skip out on these. You won't hurt my feelings either way, but I'm adding what will either be a bi-weekly additional episode, so there'll be 2 episodes every other week, or it might even be every week or whenever I feel like recording these. These episodes are going to be called, at least for now, the Grow With Me minis, and they're going to be 5 to 10 minutes. They're going to be short. They are going to be more of a personal type episode, less formal, less edited, less polished, and that's intentionally because what I'm really feeling called to do is share more of the behind the scenes of growing a company, as well as growing as a human being and personally developing, and more of that in the middle type of sharing where I'm not on the other side of something, but I want to show you the nitty gritty, the real deal, because it can get discouraging when you see someone show up and it's like, oh wow, everything they do turns to gold. And what you don't see is the struggle and the doubt and the learning and all of that along the way. And so I'm going to get a little bit vulnerable and share with you some of those takeaways. And those might be about business. Those might be about life. It might be a combination, as they often are. But the cool thing is I'm going to be recording these episodes live in my Facebook group and probably Instagram. So pray for me. I don't yet know how to do dual lives where you're filming with 2 different devices, but I'm going to figure it out. I do miss lives because that's where I get to really interact with my ladies, right? I get to interact and interface, but I also love my closeted podcast recording where I can just sit and take my time and pause if I need to and look up a definition of something. And I just really like that process. But these Grow With Me minis are going to be more informal and more conversational and just like, hey, I read this chapter of a book and this aha came to mind. All of these things that usually I just put into my phone notes and I wait until I'm on the other side of the lesson or the other side of the hump or whatever it is. And so this is going to be more in vivo type of sharing. So if that's encouraging to you, listen to these episodes. If you like more of the strategy and, steps 1 to 5 and more of the technical things or longer form content, then my regular weekly episodes are still going to be that type of content. I don't want to just share wins and mountaintops and all of those things that we think sometimes as coaches and leaders in this online space we have to do in order to attract and retain clients. But I know for me, I always appreciate understanding that there are ups and downs of entrepreneurship and building a business and ups and downs and building a solid relationship. Not everything is perfect all the time. There's ups and downs in motherhood, no matter how much you're crushing it and wanting to do all the things. And we get to have all these amazing things in our lives, but that's not without hiccups and growing through those things. So Grow With Me is going to be a chance where I can show you how I respond to and grow through challenges, because that interests me. And so if that interests you, I hope you're here for it. And if not, again, just skip the minis. And then lastly, selfishly, my reason for creating these Grow With Me mini episodes is to give a space where I can make declarations and be held accountable of what I'm going to create and do before it actually happens. And to show you what that looks like, I've shared in the past before that I've hesitated to share certain things or declare certain things out loud and in public. Maybe I'll do that in my private Facebook group, but it's a little more scary to do here where anyone can listen to this. And trust me, there's people listening to this podcast that I do not really love listening to it. And I want to put myself in the position to be all in with my company, with my mission, with my message, with the intention that I have for all of this, and to show you what that looks like. So let me tell you about where this idea originated from. And this is something I I know other people struggle with it, but I wonder if you have ever had this experience, because this is a pattern that I'm noticing is a pattern in my life across the board. It's a pattern of avoiding looking closely at things when they're not working or they're not going well, and just ignoring, glossing over, when if I did take the time and uncover my eyes, if you will, and look at the thing that wasn't working, or the problem, or whatever you want to call it, it can sometimes be an easy fix. So I don't know if you ever struggled with that, but this is something that I'm noticing almost in every area of my life that I have done or am currently doing. Like when something's not going well or working, I literally just don't want to look at it. And part of this has come up because in hiring my bestie Jody to work with me as part of my company, I'm noticing that there's a lot of things that I'm passing off to her to take a look at and basically fix or tell me what's wrong that I could have looked at myself, but for fear that it wasn't perfect or for fear that it wasn't working and just wanting to avoid it, I would just move on to something else and not troubleshoot. But this always makes things worse. This always wastes more time and energy and does not advance anything in any area. So where this came up this week, and again, this is the grow with me because this is something I'm actively working on now. Months ago, we're talking must have been in August, I built out this beautiful automated sales funnel. I researched the heck out of it. I took courses. I built out this funnel for one of my digital products and I poured ad spend into it with so much excitement once it was completed, and people were signing up for my presentation. And I could see this on the back end. People were signing up for the webinar. You can't tell if they watched the video or not, but people were signing up, but there were 0 conversions. So I was still live launching on the front end, but my goal for 2023 is really to do less live launching so that I can put more energy into my paying clients, working with them on the back end, and really dump my energy there for them versus doing so much live launching and showing up live so often, hence creating an evergreen funnel for one of my products. So anyway, 0 conversions. So rather than really deep dive into looking at what was wrong, now I clicked through my own funnel. I went through the process. Everything looked fine. Emails were being delivered. The video played, all fine and dandy. I couldn't figure out what was going wrong. And I didn't want to look at what was going wrong. I'm not exactly sure why. Did it mean something about me, that I'm a failure, that my business wasn't going to work? Did it cause me anxiety? And so I just didn't want to look at it. I'm still working through the why. But what I did, regardless of why I didn't want to really take a deep dive and look into this, I turned off my ad. So I shut it down rather than take a hard look and analyze what was going on, because I had spent so much time and effort. It almost defies logic why I wouldn't just stay the course for my plan rather than doing things totally differently, which is what I ended up doing in Q4. And that wasn't all bad. There were some great results from that. I got to work with some really amazing clients and created some new programs that I wouldn't have otherwise. But Q4 definitely turned out much differently than I had projected, and revenue from the sales funnel did not come in. Okay. So I'm going to bring this back around to Jody, and she is my right-hand woman. She's amazing. I sent her the link for my funnel. So the starting from the ad to signing up to all the things that I had gone through. And so she goes through the funnel and screenshots the stopping point, which was the actual webinar, the video where I share value and then pitch program. And the screenshot she sent me and what she told me was that the video wasn't loading. It just spun and spun and spun. So every single person that signed up for that webinar was getting that. But I couldn't figure out, okay, so why when I tested it, did it seem to work? I could watch the video. And so I had a moment and I had been thinking about this issue that I had before. And I said, okay, I'm going to contact the platform that I use to host the webinar as part of the funnel. I contacted their customer service. I live chatted with them. They couldn't figure it out. So I sent an email with details and screenshots. And the response that I ended up getting back after the guy, he was awesome. He took a look at my funnel, he duplicated it, he ran all these tests, and lo and behold, the reason that the video wasn't loading for anyone else but me is because I have the original video housed on my YouTube channel and I had it set to private, but because I was logged in on my devices, it would play for me, but it would not play for anyone else, and it needed to be set to either public or unlisted. That was the issue. Like, come on. So now I can and I am moving forward with what could have been in my world and business literally, how many months ago is that? August, September, October, November, December. Like 6 months ago, had I done exactly what I did just this past week when things weren't working the way that I desired for them to be working. Rather than doing that, I dropped what I had built. That felt easier or more safe to my brain rather than taking a look at it for whatever reason. And again, I will come back to you with why that is. But my takeaway is a challenge to both myself and to you to look at that thing that you don't want to, that's not been working, versus continue to ignore it. So this might be something in your business or your life or a relationship that is totally worth the time and effort, and you really want it to work so badly, but for whatever reason, again, we don't know why at this point, it feels scary. There's a conversation that you dread having. It's embarrassing. It would be an ego blow, or it is an ego blow. It's risky or feels risky or daunting or whatever else it is to just face it head on. But the truth of the matter is that there is no way but to go through things. We can't just dance around things and they just magically happen. We have to go through. And it might be more simple than you think, and everything gets to start turning around. And that's what I learned from this experience, that if I had just taking that time to face what I didn't want to face, what felt defeating and an unknown, it actually ended up not being that big of a deal. It was just the click of a button to change a video from private to unlisted. And that video, that one video, brought in more revenue for my business than anything else in 2022 when I shot it live. And so I know that it's not the content of the video, it's not my presentation, it's not the messaging. So I will keep you posted on how that's all working. And the alternative to this is endlessly starting over and or missing out on what could have been if we just take that pause and look at the things that we don't want to look at because they're not working or they're not going the way that you want them to go versus ignoring it. So speaking of programs, today is the first day of a relaunch of my very, very, very favorite program. And this is the exact process that I take my one-on-one clients through, regardless if they have an established brand or they are just starting out. And this is the program called Align Your Brand. I've had this as a self-paced course throughout the last couple of years, but I want to run it live because there's so much new life and information that I just want to pour into my clients who take this program live this year. So this is a 5-day program. There's 4 modules. So 4 modules of teaching. And then the 5th day, I will be doing a live Q&A. So it's a little bit of a combination of mastermind / group program. The pricing is still as it was as a self-paced course. And in fact, I lowered the price by $200 just for this first 24 hours. Oh, actually, I believe it's until the 11th. So if you're listening to this live on Monday, on the 11th at noon, the price goes up by $200 to its regular price, which is still a self-paced price for a live program. So insane, I know, but this is something that I really want to serve my community with, and I want you in there. It's going to be so good. Align Your Brand is exactly the program that you need if you recognize that you need to have a personal brand that's cohesive, that's influential, that's monetized, if you want to stand out in a noisy online space, but you need clarity, you need direction, and you need alignment on any or all of the following. And I've gone through this process myself recently differently and it's life. So your message, your ideal client avatar, your content pillars, and what is the commonality between them, which gets to your message. What's your tagline? Where should you be showing up online and how often? What's your best and most aligned lead generation method? What's your aesthetic? So your brand colors and fonts, do you need to tweak them? Do you not have any? Where do you use them? How to create cohesion? And how the heck do you turn your personal brand into a monetized business? But most importantly, and this is why it's called Align Your Brand, it's aligning all of those basic 101 pillars that you want to have dialed in to create a very strong, cohesive brand. But also, how do you ensure that all of the following aligns with your personality type, your core values, your past experience, your personal definition of success, the time that you have to build your business, your schedule, and your passions, so that you are building this business to support a life that you absolutely are obsessed with. And so that's what you're going to leave the experience of Align Your Brand with me. You will be able to move forward and build your business in flow. If you've ever had back issues, you will know how important alignment is. If one piece is off, you are not moving optimally. And it's the same thing in your business and in your brand. If something does not feel like it is authentic to your core self and your intention, you are not going to be able to move forward. You're going to get stuck. You're going to feel like you just can't seem to find any drive to move forward. You're just sitting in front of the computer, scrolling your phone. You know what you're supposed to do maybe even, but you're not excited and energized to do it like ever. And you've got this list of things that you want to build, you want to do, but for some reason, never find the time to do it, even though you have this desire to build a business, you have this desire to increase your influence, impact, and income. So if you are here to get past that hump and either start your brand or rebrand and build from experience, but in a way that feels aligned and good, then this is the program for you. Our enrollment is open until January 20th, and then we kick off live that Monday. There will be replays available. Don't worry. In fact, if you want to, you can just hop into the course. It's already recorded. I'm just re-recording and adding information. So if you're like, ugh, group programs, lives, no thanks. I just want to show up for the Q&A and that's it. Feel free. But anyway, we would love to have you. Align Your Brand. We are open for enrollment for the next 11 days, and then we shall see if I ever do this live again this year, but I just wanted to kickstart the year with you all and reconnect and help anyone who is wanting to get their selves and their business in flow so that they can move forward with clarity and ease and all of that good stuff. So you can get more information through the link in the show notes, or you can go to elevatedwithashley.com/align and check out all of the details and testimonials and all of that good stuff and snag your spot. All right. Well, these episodes will not be this long in the future, but for that little intro, I took the liberty of time. But I will see you in episode 65. And until then, cheers to your impact.